I believe in all of your playoff experiences, you were the road team only once in the last finals in '98.
Oh, as a player.
As a
Yeah, yeah.
player and as a coach. What do you remember about that game one overtime loss to Utah? I think that was what happened.
We did lose in overtime. I remember we were coming off a 7-game series against Indiana. Didn't have a lot of time to prepare and flew to Utah and lost a close one and then won game 2. So, and then we won the championship. That's what I remember. No, no, not quite. No, I don't have that kind of recollect.
I don't know if it's appropriate, but Mark Berman from Fox Houston. Steve, can you tell us what your starting lineup?
No.
Tim Kawakami, The Athletic. With Steph, are you past any minutes limit? I mean, you've said before, you kind of at a minutes limit. I mean, is he looking like he can play the full first quarter, full third
I
quarter?
think it's a possibility, but it's not for sure like it normally was in the regular season. That was always our pattern, but we'll see how he's going. And if he's going well, we'll keep him out there. If he looks a little tired, we'll take him out.
Steve Bryant with Houston Chronicle. Last summer, Andre considered maybe joining the Rockets, and players always talk to other teams. Do you remember, from your perspective, how close it felt like at one point you could lose him, and then the obvious how important it is that you guys were able to keep him to do what you continue to do with this team?
Well, it never seemed like it was a serious deal because we knew the restrictions on what Houston could offer him, and we were offering him twice as much. So that usually does the trick.
Shane Young, Bebop Breakdown. Coach, over here. Coach, how exciting is this series in terms of what the league is moving towards, switchability, three-point shooting, pace? How exciting is this series between these two teams?
Well, it's exciting for basketball fans. It's exciting for us, those of us participating in it or coaching in it. It's great. It's exciting. They have a great team, and it's a sign of what's coming. You see the same thing in Boston and Cleveland. A lot of 6'7" guys who can switch and guard multiple spots and shoot, and it's definitely the future of the league.
Brent Zwarneman, Houston Chronicle. So with the success of the Hamptons 5 in the late in the last series, should we just assume that's what you're going to roll with?
If you'd like, you can assume that. It's totally up to you.
Are you as ready for this to actually start as everybody else is?
No, I like these media sessions.
I meant even beyond dealing with us, just the fact that this has been something that I think both teams have admittedly been waiting for it to happen for a while.
No, we've all been ready for this for the last few days, I think. Obviously, it's been an anticipated matchup, but you never know in the NBA. And but both teams are here, and both teams have had to fight hard to get here, and so here it is. It's exciting, it's fun, and we'll tip it up and we'll see what happens.
Steve, Dan Wecke with the LA Times. You mentioned yesterday that this is the most locked in mentally you've seen your team all year. Could you speak to sort of the grind that this regular season had on them, and then also maybe specifically what were some of the things you noticed where that switch kind of clicked with them?
Well, I think we anticipated what this year was going to feel like, given that it's the fourth year in a row that we're trying to get back to the finals, which has only been done a couple of times in NBA history. And my own experience as a player in Chicago, I remember year 3, not even year 4, but year 3 being pretty tough and a long haul and a long grind and filled with bumps in the road. And so I felt like this was coming. I think our players kind of felt it most of the season. It's a feeling of, are we there yet? Like you say to your parents when they're driving you across country, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? That's what it felt like my players were asking me all season. It just takes forever because you really want to get to the destination, but you can't bypass the process. You have to stay in tune with the things that make you who you are, and for us, the defensive effort down the stretch really waned over the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season. And so that was my biggest concern coming into the playoffs. But our guys turned it around right away. Game 1 against San Antonio, first round, the defense was fantastic, and that's when I knew we were going to be okay.
Melissa Rowland-Berry, News Group. Steve, even as a coach before big games like this, do you get any sort of butterflies or that excited, anticipatory feel?
Always. That's the beauty of competition. You get to be almost 53, and you don't get butterflies for that many things anymore. But the Western Conference Finals, you get butterflies for. I think that's why we're all kind of still in it. Those of us who played and competed but can no longer compete. It's one of the reasons we coach, to get this feeling. It's a great feeling. It's nervous energy, but you're living your life, and with a group of people, you're trying to accomplish something great, and it's exciting and it's fun. And the great thing about sports, somebody wins, somebody loses, and nobody dies. You go play and you compete and you have fun, and it's a great way to test yourself. But more than anything, it's exciting and it's fun, and we're incredibly blessed to be here playing this game on this stage.
Steve, Clay said yesterday he and his teammates have the appropriate fear in this series. How important is that sort of thing when you hear that in this situation?
Well, Greg Popovich is happy to hear that my players are using his term. I stole the term from Pop. He used to use it all the time when we go on the road with the Spurs, and it's a great term because you don't want to be scared when you go out on the floor. You want to be confident, but you need the appropriate edge, the appropriate fear that comes with respecting your opponent, respecting the situation you're in, because that brings out your best. And I think Houston will bring out our best because we've got a ton of respect for them and what they've done all year and how good they are.
Steve, Connor Letourneau, San Francisco Chronicle. Mike D'Antoni said earlier that he thinks Houston is the underdog in this series. Vegas actually has you guys as the underdog, at least for this game. How do you view that, and what do you think you guys are?
I'm taking the Warriors plus the 1.5. Sorry, I read that whole story about gambling this morning, and so I guess now I'm allowed to announce my picks for the week. Stay away from Boston tomorrow. You got to be careful on those game 2s. Oh wait, sorry. Adam Silver on line 2. I'm about to get fined. All right, let's start over.